Hey, Thomas Westbrook here, and you're watching Atheist Age.
Hey, welcome back to Atheist Age. I'm Jim, and if you live in the North Texas area, if you're involved at all in atheist activism or separation of church and state in this area, you're bound to know my next guest, Terry McDonald. Thanks for coming on the show, Terry.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
My first question for you is, what got you started in fighting against this growing religious tidal wave in our public schools, our government buildings, trying to force Christianity as the basically a theocracy in the United States? And so, what motivated you to fight against that, and how long ago?
The easy answer to that is George Bush.
George H.W.?
No.
Oh, George W.
George
All
too.
right.
And I've been involved since '06.
'06, okay.
Yeah, so I've been involved in it for quite some time. But initially, I just found Metroplex Atheists online, and they had a Yahoo group that I chimed in on, and then I decided to go on a Wednesday night, and I've been going there almost every Wednesday night for all that time.
Oh, you found it online, 2006? Okay, so
Yeah.
That was what, 12, was that 12 years?
12 years ago. Well,
Wow.
Almost 12 years ago.
And among the Metroplex Atheists, is that the oldest atheist organization in just this part of Texas or all of Texas?
All of Texas.
Okay.
I've
I've heard you say that before. Let me pin this down because, all right, so we know Madalyn Murray O'Hair, the most hated woman on earth. She was from Texas, like the Austin area, right?
That's correct.
Her family. So whatever organization that was, that had to come way before this group, correct?
Actually, Metroplex Atheists started out as a chapter of American Atheists, the Fort Worth chapter of American Atheists, back in the late '80s. And then when Madalyn decided to centralize, the organization and eliminate the chapters, the people who were involved in Metroplex Atheists at the time, well, with American Atheist in that chapter, were interested in staying together, keeping together, and having a group. So they renamed it Metroplex Atheists.
Okay, so
And
it originally.
that was in '91.
How long ago was Metroplex Atheist just the Fort Worth chapter of American Atheists? What kind of time period?
I think it was in '87. I think was when they started.
Goodness. Okay. Madalyn Murray O'Hair. When was she active? That was.
Well, they were still in Austin.
Yeah, early '80s, late '70s, or even longer ago.
I really don't know for sure.
There's a movie on Netflix. I haven't seen it yet. It's The Most Hated Woman in America or something like that.
Huh.
Yeah, everyone says it's pretty good.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, it's a documentary about her. Okay, so that's how we can get away with saying we're the oldest, because we're still going. Now, American Atheist in Austin is still going. Was there a time when they were disbanded?
Well, no, they moved to New Jersey.
What am I thinking? What's still down in Austin?
The
Atheist Community of Austin.
Right. Yeah.
The Atheist Experience, all
Yeah.
you met. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, okay. That's what I'm thinking. All right, well, that explains it. So I've always, I see, like, our membership cards, it says oldest atheist organization in Texas, and I thought it was a misprint, so. So that's a long time. Throughout that time, what's some of the craziest things you've seen, or some of the craziest things that the theist types have tried to get away with in this area? Like maybe, I know there's city council meetings. Okay.
We've objected. We've stood in or objected to those in several cities.
Objected to what exactly?
Prayer.
Prayers in the city council meetings, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So different cities around here.
Yes.
Yeah.
We've done that. And then
So
some of the school things we've objected some school things where an organization will go into a school and set up a deal where they try to, get the kids to belong to a group. There's one group that we didn't get involved with, but there was another one, the seventh something, I can't remember, but we.
Seventh?
Yeah, seven, I didn't know you were gonna ask me that question.
Oh, that's cool.
But we sat in on board meetings and the whole thing on that, and they finally, they toned down what they were doing. They didn't completely, eliminate it, but the problem was that the principal was the one that was pushing the whole thing, But they would come in during the classroom,
During school hours?
During school hours.
See, that is a big no-no, right?
Yes, that's what we were objecting
Okay.
to. Well, but then they said, okay, we're just trying to, eliminate bullying and a bunch of other crap, But then they'd invite the kids to come after school to a meeting, and then they'd give them goodies, and then that's when they'd indoctrinate them.
That's more of a gray area. If it's after school hours,
yes.
I think, they can get away with that.
Yeah, they did get away with that,
Mhm.
but we made them stop proselytizing during school hours.
Well, yeah, that's a given. Now,
Yeah.
that's a slam dunk.
Yeah, yes, it is.
But
that don't mean they won't try it.
Oh, yeah, they do. They try everything. The prayer in the city council meetings, proselytizing in public schools. I don't know if we. In God we trust on government property like squad
Yeah.
cars and one of the first. I think the very first protest I ever went to with this group was in Northwestern Hills, and that was a couple of years ago.
Mm-hmm.
There was a brand new a city hall, and they had "In God We Trust" right etched in the marble right when you walk in the door.
Yes.
Now, the argument for that is, well, it's on our money, which it's only been on our money. How long? Since the 50s.
Yes.
So it's not even our actual motto still is "E pluribus unum."
No, they changed it.
Oh, they did.
Eisenhower changed it.
Oh, okay.
And that was, of course, the McCarthy area. I consider that whole thing a leftover from the McCarthy era, and I think we ought to get rid of it because, at the time it was like we're talking about the godless communists is who we were.
Yeah. Because that was around 54, 56,
Yes.
right when McCarthy.
Yeah, it was that era.
Yeah.
That they were concerned about godless communism, and that's why they passed that. And I think that we're long past that era, and we've given up all that McCarthy stuff. But that's the one thing that we've kept that I think that obviously I don't think we should have kept.
Yeah. So do we have a fight when a local police department wants to put "In God We Trust" on their bumpers?
Well, no.
It's really no fight there, is there? If they want to put it, they can do it now.
Yeah, we can object to it, but
Yeah.
The Supreme Court said, well, it's too nebulous.
Yeah, me personally, that doesn't bother me at all. But it's getting your toe in the door, because
Yeah.
what are they going to try next?
Yes, exactly.
And then they're going to get to something I'm not cool with, like teaching one of my kids, my youngest daughter both my daughters, biology class in high school. They were taught. They purposely skipped the portion on human evolution in the biology books.
Right.
And I had to go send emails, and it was a huge pain in the ass. But I had to basically force my kids' biology teachers to teach that chapter.
Right.
And he tried to say, "Oh, that's not in the end of school testing, so we don't need to teach it." I said, "You know what? You teach every other subject. You teach every other chapter." And so what he did was he spent one day teaching that chapter, and the subsection on human evolution, he skipped that.
Yeah.
So then I had to start the fight all over again. It was a pain in the ass.
Yes.
How long have you been a non-believer, Terry?
40-something years, I guess. 40 plus, maybe close
So
to 50.
you were a Catholic.
I was raised a Catholic. I went to Catholic grade school.
Mhm.
I went to Catholic high school. I started Catholic college. I didn't graduate from Catholic college, but I did start it in a Catholic college. Well, I got a football scholarship to a little school up in Kansas.
Okay.
St. Benedict's College, which was an all-boys school.
Huh.
So one of the things that Catholics do, of course, they indoctrinate you into what they believe, but they also enculturate you when you're young. it becomes a culture of Catholics, and you really, become a Catholic. I mean, when I was, during most of my life, the only friends I had were Catholics. I mean, of course, I had, when you work, you have work friends and stuff like that, and when you go to school, unless it's a Catholic school, you have friends that aren't Catholic. But basically, all of my friends were Catholic. I was Catholic. When I got married and had kids, and I became involved in parish work. I mean, I was on the parish council, which is the group that talks to the priests, and I was involved in that group. I was the president of the Confraternity of Christian Doctrine, which is the CCD is the group that is in charge of teaching kids who don't go to Catholic school their religion.
Kids who don't go to Catholic school,
Yeah.
so they're not non-Catholics?
No, they're Catholics,
Oh, right.
but
They
go
just
to
don't
public school.
they go to a public school.
They go to
Okay,
public
yeah,
schools,
okay.
and so then classes, and I've taught those classes. And I was also the president of that organization. And I passed out the little gods at Mass, I mean, I was very involved in Catholics,
So what started eroding?
I think, I just never examined it. It was so much a part of me, I never really examined it. And, the interesting thing I think about is when I think about praying when I was a Catholic, and I'm sure I must have prayed for my kids and stuff like that, but the only prayer I can ever remember actually earnestly saying is, God, I believe, help my unbelief. So I had some, what exactly that was, like I say, I really didn't examine it that closely.
Is that a common prayer? Like, that's an actual part of Catholic doctrine, or did you make that up yourself?
No, I didn't make it up
Oh,
myself.
right.
I think Thomas said that, or there's something about that. I don't know.
Oh,
I can't
okay.
remember exactly. But anyway, I was married to my wife I left her when we had been married 19 years. And we didn't get divorced for a couple of years because that was difficult. But, and I'm not going to go into all the reasons about that. But the first 10 years were pretty good. The last 10 years were a long downward spiral into misery. And when I finally left her was because somebody was going to get hurt. She was a small woman. She was 5 foot and 1.5 inches tall, and she weighed about 120 pounds. I weighed probably 30 pounds more then than I do now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was a former football player. I worked out with weights. I was a strong guy.
Mm-hmm.
And she decided to, she'd get mad at me and she'd hit me, She gave me a black eye one time. And that's pretty embarrassing.
Was religion the cause?
No, there was
there was other stuff. Okay.
Religion had nothing to
Got
do
it.
with the breakup of my marriage.
But she stayed Catholic the whole time?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Anyway, I had a pretty good temper back then, and I was afraid that one of these times she's gonna hit me, and I'm gonna slug her, and if I did, I'd hurt her, and if I I could have hit her, knocked her down, and she'd bang her head against something, and I could have killed her, and I didn't want anything like that to happen, and so that's when I decided to leave her. And when you're a Catholic like I was, and you leave your wife, you lose all your friends.
And is it, you're not automatically excommunicated, are you?
No.
You're right.
No.
But they're not for divorce. They're not down with that.
No. Oh, yes, that's correct. You're right.
So there's probably a lot of classes you got to take and make sure. Are you sure this is the only option, kind of thing?
I didn't take any classes.
Oh, no?
I just left her. And you lose, like I say, you lose all your friends. I mean, even some of the guy friends I had wanted to remain friends with me, but their wives won't let them because as a divorced man, you know things that their wives don't want them to know. So I, when that support group fell away, whatever faith I had, and I don't know exactly what it was back then because I didn't, as I say, I didn't.
Yeah.
It left me like jettisoned garbage. It was gone immediately. It was not a lot
You
of
didn't
people,
try to hang on a little bit.
Nope. It just was gone. Period. And when that happened, I thought, well, I've allegedly believed in God for all these, well, my whole life, and I thought, so I decided to look at other religions. And of course I knew quite a bit about other Christian religions, but I looked into a bunch of that, and then I didn't find anything I could accept. And so I began to look at world religions, and I did quite a study. I've got a pretty good library on world religions, and I got really interested in Zen Buddhism at one time, and I thought that was pretty interesting.
I kind of did too, back
Yeah.
in the martial arts days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But even then, the supernatural parts of it, it's
Same
and
here.
that's when I pretty much knew I was an atheist. I call that era my search for God. I looked for God and I didn't find him, so I was pretty much an atheist.
So it was like a 10-year process, but when you knew, I mean, it was like a ton of bricks. It happened instantly.
Instantly, yeah.
I hear that a lot. Like some people were like, it takes a lot of leading up to it, but when they actually the decision to pull the trigger,
Yeah.
I mean, it can happen when your head on the pillow and you're like, yeah, I'm an atheist
I'm
now.
out. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
out. Yeah. Well, the time I really admitted that I was an atheist was a friend of mine. Well, a guy who lives across the street from me invited me to what do you call it? An Elks Club. He belonged to the Elks Club, and he invited me to a deal that they had there. And I thought, boy, this is pretty nice. It's in a building that I'd been in before because it used to be a club, and we've spent 2 or 3 New Year's Eves there, and we've been there. And
That's
a
cool.
big dance floor.
Big
and,
lodge.
Yeah, it's a big
Yeah.
place, and so I thought about joining it, and then I realized, I found out that you have to believe in God to belong to be an Elks.
Elks, Rotaries,
Yeah.
Shriners,
Yeah, all those.
Masons. It's
Yeah.
all God.
Yeah, it's all God. Yeah.
Yep.
So and then when I looked at that, and I thought,
Alcoholics Anonymous.
yeah, exactly,
Everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I thought, no, I can't do that. And that's when I thought, I'm really an atheist, And that was a long time before I got, became involved in as an activist.
Oh, there was a long time there
Yeah.
as an atheist.
Yeah.
So what were your influences during those formative times when you're just starting to wake up out of this, and or any books, any notable figures, or anyone in the community?
No.
You were on your own. You were treading water on your own for
Well,
quite a while.
I had a really good friend, and he was an atheist, and we had our own little atheist group, I guess. I mean, we didn't do anything.
Oh, right, right.
We were just, he was the only atheist I knew. Well, and sometimes, even now, it's been a while, but people will give you a Christian book and say, here, read this, And I tell them, look, I didn't become an atheist reading atheist stuff. I never read anything about atheists. I became an atheist reading this crap, which is exactly true.
Yeah, and it's not as common nowadays because someone becoming an atheist now, they have just as much of a chance becoming an atheist through atheist literature nowadays.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it's a coin flip now. You could read the Bible like Penn Jillette said. Best way to be an atheist is to read the Bible,
Well,
or you can read
James in our group,
James
the old guy.
Hardwick.
Yeah, James
Yeah.
Hardwick. Yeah, that's how he became an atheist reading
Reading the Bible.
when he was a teenager.
Yeah.
Because his
Oh,
parents
I
were
can totally see it.
his parents were very religious.
Yeah, I've read it 7 times. I think I've never been a believer, but if I ever was a believer, I know that would do it probably.
Yeah.
Yeah, but nowadays, people will pick up just a book off the, there's bestsellers out there that are written by atheists that are
yeah.
as compelling as the negative example in the Bible. So, did you go through any depression back then?
No.
Like leaving God?
Nope.
Did it scare you?
Nope.
Not a bit.
Not a bit.
Like-
I'm telling you, it went away.
Like Julia Sweeney, when she took her God glasses off, or she does that stand up about it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it felt scary at first. You didn't get any of that.
Nope. Not me. Nope. It was gone.
That's crazy.
I know it really is. I've not talked to anybody who has had that exact experience. Particularly after
Of course, your best guess is there's nothing lives on after our own death, right? That doesn't. not scare you. I don't know the word, but that doesn't give you pause. Like,
No.
here I've lived this whole portion of my life up till now thinking something great there's a plan for me, and now there's no plan for me. And even though I might not be, okay, I'm on my own, I can make this life work, and I'm going to make the best of this life, and it's up to me and the loved ones around me. But now knowing that there's nothing that lives on, not depressed, but does it, would you rather something live on after death?
That'd be okay.
It doesn't, really?
That'd be okay,
But here's
if
our
it was
life.
that way.
Right. Eternity is a long time.
Yeah, that's the problem.
That's true.
Yeah.
When you were involved in the Catholic Church, now I know a lot of Catholics, they'll tell non-Catholics that they don't even consider themselves, like Catholicism is not even part of Christianity.
That's not true.
Or it's not, but they'll say Catholics and Christians.
Yeah, but that doesn't make any sense.
So if you're a Catholic, you always identify as a Christian.
Yes.
But some non-Catholics, when they talk about, they'll say Catholics and they
make it
separate it.
Yeah.
It's Catholics and Christians.
Yeah, I don't.
When actually Catholicism and Protestantism are two sides of the same Christianity.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. But it's not like that within Catholicism.
No.
All right. Because from the outside, people talking about Catholics and Christians, I hear that all the time. You're Catholic or you're Christian? What?
Well, there's some of the
Catholic
language
is a
that's a little
Christian.
different. Like a Protestant we'll talk about the Protestant Reformation, and the Catholics will call it a Protestant revolt.
I never looked at it that way. Just like I've got a friend. He's a Brit, but he lives in Ireland, and he always talks about the War of American Aggression.
Yeah,
He calls
the War of Northern.
No.
Aggression.
He calls it the Revolutionary War, the War of American separate. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
He's got something really funny, like negative, to say about 1776.
Okay.
And so we call it the Revolutionary War. He calls it the War of the United States being jerks, or I don't know, something. But the parish work you did. Okay, so I forget the name of the Catholic leader. Maybe he was a priest or a pope or something. But he said, "Give me the child until the age of 5, and I'll give you the man."
I think that was some Jesuit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in line with that, I know how Catholics do. You know better than me, but they will indoctrinate the shit out of you for the first 5 years, and then just like it was hard for you to break out, you were kind of living in a fog. But when you finally saw things for what they were, it was easy to leave.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
During that time, you piqued my curiosity with this parish work and stuff they do with the kids. When you were young, did they send you out like missionary type of work?
No.
Or no?
No, I never did anything like that.
Uh-huh. How often did you go to church?
Yeah, every Sunday.
Or mass, they call it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Every Sunday, and then Wednesday nights?
No, we didn't. No,
You never did Wednesday?
No.
Yeah. Did you use birth control?
Okay, let me
Or
tell
were
you
you
this.
against birth control?
Let me tell you this. My wife and I got married in 1964.
Mm-hmm.
We had our first child in June of 64. Okay? And we had our 6th child in December of 1970. Now, ask me if I believe in birth control.
Wow, that's staying pregnant pretty much all the time.
Yeah. Well, we lost our first child and our 4th child. They were premature, and they were like 6 months, into the pregnancy. Today, they wouldn't be a problem. They wouldn't have. They would survive today. But the way that was back then, no.
Now is the church actively encourage? Are they taking steps to actively encourage married couples in their church to have more babies?
No,
or is it?
No, not so much that. No, it's more just you're every sperm is sacred. I mean, you don't. Well, what we called it back then was Vatican Roulette. We tried the deal where you only,
Have sex.
on when your wife is not ovulating.
Right.
But my last child was, and I know a lot about women's cycles because of this, but my last child, my youngest, was conceived on the 28th day of my wife's menstrual cycle. And she's supposed to ovulate on the 14th day.
So that's, well, you know what Planned Parenthood says about you can get pregnant anytime?
Yep.
It doesn't necessarily have to be during ovulation?
Well, no, that's ovulation, but you don't know when.
You can't.
You
Oh,
can't.
right.
You can't pin that down. Well, you may be able to do it better than we did it then. I mean, you take your temperature every morning, and and I can't remember exactly how it worked.
Oh, yeah, your
but it didn't
temperature.
work.
Right. But ovulation, the whole cycle can change.
Yeah, you can't. It's not. It's that's what it's supposed to happen, but that's not always what always happens.
Crazy. That is. So what the Catholic Church really pushes is don't use birth control.
That's correct.
Everything else that follows, that's just a natural result.
Yes, that's
So they're not saying, hey, we want you to have more kids. They
No,
never
no.
push more kids.
No.
They just know that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. What's going on with the atheist activism now? What do we got going on now? I mean, if you could steer this ship, what would be our biggest focus right now? What should be our biggest focus?
Well, I think, obviously, the things that we do, that American atheists do, Metroplex Atheists, we object to things that we can see that are clearly, a violation of church and state.
Mm-hmm.
We do that, but I'd like to see the membership grow, because I think a bigger group means you can do more things, and the group has grown. They grew quite a bit when I was president, and when that was because of the activities that I did that was in Metroplex Atheists, but also outside of Metroplex Atheists.
Atheist Age. Walking the edge of what some consider offensive, but your feelings don't matter here, only facts. Edgy commentary on the dangers of doctrine, the foibles of faith, the bullshit of belief, the stupidity of superstition, and the idiocy of indoctrination. With razor-sharp wit, curiosity, and critical thought, we take an unblinking look at today's religions. We are Atheist Age.